All righty. Welcome, everybody. It's Dr. Stan, known as Dr. Breakthrough, with another edition of our How to Make an Extra 9K to 90K in 90 days or less. And I've got an extra special guest, Dr. Fran Harris, my twin sister. Oh, no, okay, just joking. But anyway, but no, seriously. But I always start with a disclaimer. Hey, listen, as Dr. Breakthrough, I can't provide a breakthrough. I just prescribe the breakthrough. However,
Mm.
will follow the breakthrough prescription. God Almighty provides it. And the breakthrough, it's exploding through barriers that at one time seemed insurmountable. And our guest today knows what it's like to break through barriers. Again, Dr. Fran Harris, whether you met or seen her at the Black Millionaire Summit, whether you saw her on WGTV, whether you know her from, oh, wait a minute, from writing
Okay.
forward to my book, Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed. I mean, whether you know her from the WNBA Hall of Fame, I don't know. Whether you know her from being the millionaire speaker, the internet marketer, I mean, she does it all. So what can we say? But Dr. Fran, oh, wait a minute. And then recently, you might have also known her because she was on Shark Tank and she blew it up. So, Dr. Fran, welcome.
Good to see you again, Dr. Stan. Always a delight to be with you.
Hey. Well, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. And we appreciate you. Like people tell me, it's like, man, I can't believe all the different things you've done. I was like, well, it runs in the family.
That's right. It's the Harris thing.
Come on now. Come on now. So, hey. Well, God bless you. And yeah, so let's start off real quick. Have you, this again is always, summertime, a lot of times businesses are down, especially for entrepreneurs sometimes. And people with their own business sometimes could go a little down this summer. People kind of take vacation. And I decided, you know what? Let me encourage people to see that they can make an extra 9,000 to 90,000 in 90 days or less. Just set their intention, right? And then all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, you know what? Let me just go and do it. So I set up a free Facebook group because somebody said, you're going to charge? I'm like, no, I'm just going to give back, right? So I've been blessed in a lot of, so I just want to bless other folks. And
Love
then
it.
it came to mind, let me interview a few other folks so people can hear different perspectives. So we got some folks talking about real estate, people, some people talking about insurance, some people talking about, cryptocurrency, network marketing, speaking, coaching, all kind of different things. But I was like, it wouldn't be complete without Dr. Fran because she's going to talk about a little bit of everything. So anyway, Doc, sure. Have you made an extra 9K to 90K in 90 days ever in your life?
Absolutely, multiple times. And I have to tell you that as soon as I knew you were going to ask me that question, the one time I remember really being blown away by the ability to just turn money on and turn money on was I was out of the country. I had just spoken in the UK, was very excited. I played professional basketball in Italy. This is 20 years after I played professional basketball. I went over to speak in the UK. And then I was going to go back to my village in Italy to visit my people, right? The people I hadn't seen in 20 years or whatever. I get on the plane, I get on the train from London to Cesena, which is where I played. And before the night was over, I'd lost my voice. Now, I've never had laryngitis in my life, and
Wow.
I literally lost my voice. Nothing would come out. So that night, I literally got really sick. My Italian friends and family were like, "What is going on? Should we take you to the hospital?" I said, "No, I'll be fine." But that night, when I started to feel better, I pulled out my cell phone and I had a notification on from PayPal that I'd made $9,752, something like that. Point is, it was over 9,000 in less than 10. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in a foreign country
Oh,
with no voice. How? And I'm a speaker. How did I make $9,700? How did that happen? It happened because I'd automated my speaking. I had courses. I had a course that some people had bought. People have discovered me when I was 3,000 miles away from home, bought my stuff, signed up for my coaching program. Now, we're not talking about 9,000 of promised money. We're talking about 9,700 cash collected while I was in another country, simply because I had automated my knowledge and monetized my knowledge. Crazy.
wow.
Absolutely nuts.
So, but again, that's what I want people to hear, different stories, different aspects so they can understand.
Yeah.
Not only is it possible, but it's probable for them.
Probable.
First, they got to have the belief, and then they got to again adopt the behavior, right? And so,
Yes.
wow. Well, congratulations on that. And I know you've had different instances in different arenas. I mean, oh my goodness, I've read some of your stuff when you're teaching about internet marketing, and we've shared the platform different places. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but you're just amazing. So So tell us about some more. I mean, I know you
Sure.
were like, what was it, HGTV anchor or something? I don't know. What were you?
HGTV, Home Garden Television, which is the number one home renovation network on the planet. It's over 200 million homes all over the world. I was the first Black woman to host her own television series. I had a 13 show series on HGTV a few years ago. And it was amazing. Amazing, literally just helping people renovate their homes, but also renovate their lives because I'm no home renovator. But what they loved about my background was that I was doing what you and I are doing right now. I was coaching people. They saw me online coaching people in a totally different atmosphere, totally different industry, and said, let's put what we do, which is home renovation, together with life renovation. And Fran Harris is the perfect person to help people get their homes together and to get their lives together. So that's what I did for HGTV. And if you go to hgtv.com and search for Fran Harris, you will see my show. You will see my 13 episodes on hgtv.com. Still there. We're still kicking.
Wow. And I know that's during the time when you wrote the forward for the book. I had already talked to Les, so I said, Les, okay, I'll tell you what, you'll write the afterward, Les Brown. My sister got to write the forward, right? But
That's
hey,
all right.
listen, but you've done so much. I mean, that pitch you did on Shark Tank, that was cold blooded. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like,
Wow. I want y'all to think about the likelihood of beating out literally tens of 20,000 people to get one of 20 spots to be on Shark Tank. That's the first thing I had to do was to weed through all the people who auditioned for Shark Tank that year. And it was like, I think I heard something like it was over 30,000 people had auditioned.
wow.
And I made it to the finals to be on the show. But to be on the show, you have to and I tell people who are thinking about being on Shark Tank, like remember that it's a television show. So don't go on there with your feelings. Don't go on there thinking, your thing is the best thing since sliced bread or the internet. You have to go on there with the in your mind, like it is a television show. Give this audience great television. So I went in, Shark Tank was one of my favorite shows. I went in, saw all the people, Mark Cuban, Lori, I mean, all the sharks, and was just so excited and ecstatic to be a part of that because it was my dream show, number one. And number two, I was like, let me walk away with some dough. Let me walk away with some money, some dough, if it works out, and we'll see what happens after that. But it was one of those situations, it was one of those dream come true opportunities for me. And in the end, I was in front of 9 million people. And if I tried to tell you what it was like hearing all those Shopify notifications, it was crazy. It was I'm like, I just left it on. I said, God, I don't care. I'm gonna leave this on. I don't care if it keeps me up all night. I'm gonna leave my cell phone right here. I want to hear those transactions going through. So talk about making $9,000 in 9 months, hours, whatever. It was literally overnight. It was absolutely incredible.
Wow, wow, wow. And again, folks, you're hearing some powerful information. We're talking about making an extra 9K to 90K or more in 90 days or less. But you have to set the intention. You have to have the mindset. And my friend, you have to be willing, as Fran's telling you, you got to have a little bit of tough skin, right? Because, before
Yeah.
you become successful, you think failure is the opposite of success. And to become successful, you realize no, failure or quote unquote failing is one of the main ingredients to sustain success, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. I would say you got to be willing to skin your knee. Remember when we used to play back when kids used to actually play outside
Yeah.
and you probably played football and we played kickball and all this stuff like you're going to get hurt. I fell off of my bike when I was 10 years old head first. That might explain a lot, but I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to get hurt, to get my knees skinned up, to you know, make a mistake or whatever. And I think sometimes people in this environment are so afraid to compete. Like when you and I started out in internet marketing, Stan, remember, like everybody knew who we were because there was only like a handful of us actually doing it. So every time you went to a place and saw some people on stage, you saw Stan or you saw me or you saw Stan and Fran and you saw Myron Golden. Like there weren't that many people. Now it's a much more competitive market. And I find people are scared to skin their knees. They're
Right.
scared to play out in the sun. They're scared of the heat. And that's just a part of the environment. That's a part of the landscape. Now you've got to be able to get into a very competitive marketplace and show what makes you different. And talking about like something as big as 9,009 hours or 90 days or whatever it is, but also something that I love is it's not just possible, it's probable
Come
if
on.
you have the right you got the right plan, and you are willing to go all in and make it happen, because people are doing this every single day.
Exactly. And one of the things I love about you, Fran, I posted the other day that, don't use your people to build your business. Create a business that will empower people, right? So
Yeah.
you want to use your business to empower people so they can break through the burden, so they can get what they want in life. And you've always been one of those people that add great value, and your name is synonymous with that. How important is that? Because again, sometimes we get people that are so focused on making the money, they lose sight of
Mm,
integrity, right?
yes.
When you have the integrity in place and you have, value in place. Like one of the things I say every day out loud is money flows freely and frequently to me from expected and unexpected sources in exchange for the value that I consistently bring to the marketplace. One of my main mentors,
To the
William.
marketplace.
Yeah, William E. Bailey had a company grossing $64 million a month back in the 70s. And I was going through some of his coaching programs and we were speaking together on platform. Matter of fact, he called Jim Rohn. He said, listen, this young man needs to be on the platform with us. And so I was sitting there like, wow, look, you gonna get me on the platform with you and Jim Rohn? I was like, okay, okay. And I'm sitting like, okay. And so anyway, so Jim's like, hey, anything you say, Bill. So we're speaking. But anyway, he said to me after I asked him this question, I said, Mr. Bailey, what did you do to create $64 million a month in the 70s? No email, no fax machine, none of that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, wait a minute, young Dr. Breakthrough, you're asking the wrong question. Now, of course, to him, I was young, right? But so I didn't let my ego get in the way, like you said. I'm like, okay, I apologize. What's the
Yeah.
right question I should have asked you? And,
Yes.
and Doc, he said this, he said, you should have asked me how many people's lives I added value to that resulted in 64 million. You see, if you bring value and you master bringing market value to the marketplace, you can't help but eventually receive it back. So he said, you're a spiritual man, you're a minister of the gospel. He said, what did the great master do when he was here on earth? I said, what scripture says in Acts 10, he went about doing good. He said, exactly. He said, I'm an old hillbilly from Kentucky. Let me tell you, that means, he said, that means every person he met, he added value to their lives. And
That's it.
Fran, that's the kind of model you followed. So if somebody's interested in making an extra 9K to 90K or more in 90 days or less, like what's some of the advice that you would give them? You've given them great things already, but what would you say?
I'm going to echo what you said. And it's so funny that we're talking today, because I think I published a video yesterday, or maybe been Sunday, where I talked about my journey from having retired from basketball. I literally retired from basketball at age 23. Okay. I want y'all to wrap your brains around that. And then when the WNBA started in 1997, I beat out 250 women to get one of two available spots on the eventual WNBA's first championship team with the Houston Comets. Now, follow me, track with me on that. I hadn't played since I was 23 years old. That's a lot of years between that and the WNBA. And what I said in this video, and you can see it if you track with me on LinkedIn, I said, how did I make that team? And it literally was what you just said. I said, I didn't go in saying, oh, well, I played at Texas and I was an all-time scorer in Texas. And I didn't go into that tryout thinking about what I was. I said, how can I show this coach the value that I bring to this team? He's got enough shooters. He's got enough of this. You're talking about playing in the professionals. That's the best of the best. So how do I convey this coach that a woman who hasn't played since she was 23 could play 9 years? What? 9 years later, I beat out 250 women for one of two spots. Like, that does not happen unless you are very clear on your talents and your gifts and the value that you bring. So I would tell people, say, hey, look into an area that you want to go and create a product in, or a course in, or become a speaker in, and see what is missing. That's what I did that day in that tryout. I said, okay, let me see what's missing. Okay, she's fast. All right, she's big. Okay, ain't none of that. But what I am is I can shoot. I can shoot, and that's the object of the game. And what I am is I'm a great leader. And what I am is I'm going to come to work every day. I didn't look at, okay, I got to beat her up. No, I'm like, what value do I bring? And when you focus on that and you look at the marketplace and where you want to enter and compete, and make no mistake about it, you're going to have to compete. That's not a bad word. You got to
Right.
compete. And all compete means is, how can I outgive? How can I outmaneuver? How can I whatever? That's what I would say. Figure out what your lane is. Is it dementia? Is it sports? Is it, business optimization? and figure out what's missing in that marketplace that you can provide. And I guarantee you, you will see traction. Guarantee it.
Wow. All right, that's powerful. Well, you know what?
Guarantee it.
Yeah, you're exactly on, and just amazing. Thank you so much for that. And folks, I hope you're understanding. Like most of these guest speakers I have, they're saying similar, totally different things, but yet similar
Mm,
principles. And I hope that you're picking this up because again, Fran, just like I mentioned to you, she teaches what I call transcendent principles. So it's not like just for internet marketers or just for coaches. I mean, you can apply these things to your average everyday life. That's why that television show saw her and said, you know what, we got to have you, right? And so you want to make yourself, as a matter of fact, you want to make yourself where it's mandatory to have a person like,
mm,
and I think,
yes.
friend, that's again the power of, like I said, the competition part. Like with me specifically, man, I'd compete to be better every single day. I want to see how I could do this thing better,
Yes.
more. And they're calling now, but hey, it's too late. I'm talking to Dr. Fran. But the key, and it's so funny though, because sometimes people will take it as, hey, you're trying to outdo me. Oh, no, no, no. I'm out doing what I did
Yeah.
today. You see what I'm saying? But when
Yes.
you do that,
Yes.
like you said,
Absolutely.
the people in charge, they notice, right?
They do.
Like right
They
in the
said,
martial arts, they used to always say to me, "Man, you're just trying to be Sensei's pet." I'm like, "No, I'm not," because he would have us on push-up position on our knuckles on the concrete, and he'd count, and he'd walk out the room, and everybody would fall down and take a break, and I'm still doing. They're like, "He can't see you,
hmm
I can see me." Right? And is it any wonder that 35 years later, before he passed away, which I got the blessing of leading him to Christ and doing his homegoing service, but he said, before
hmm
I die, when I die, he said, Dr. Stan, that we call Dr. Breakthrough, he inherits my belt and this whole entire system. He's the one that I picked to carry on my legacy. Like that was one of the great
Yeah.
years of my life.
Amazing.
But I was the guy who tripped over my own feet and they made fun of me and laughed. But like you said, it doesn't matter what other people are saying about you. What do you say
Nope.
about yourself? And Dr. Friend, I noticed that about you. Wouldn't you say that's very important? Like you said, that confidence, that self-talk, that mindset?
Again, I mean, I don't know why you called today, but today I literally just posted a video 4 hours ago on LinkedIn and my other socials that says very clearly, none of this matters. You need to understand and accept your divine assignment.
Mm,
That's why it doesn't matter who else is competing with you. It doesn't matter who else is speaking on the stuff that I'm speaking on. It doesn't matter who else is doing karate, because that's the way you're supposed to say it. I learned that karate. You have to say it the way Dr. Stan. It doesn't matter who else is doing it. It doesn't matter who else calls themselves a breakthrough coach, because nobody does it like you. It's your assignment. Literally posted that video today. I said, you sitting around here wondering about everybody else getting this, everybody getting blessed and all this stuff like that. And what you need to be doing is focusing on your assignment. I mean, I talked to God the way God talks to me. God was like, baby girl, I don't know why you think that's going to work over there for that person. That's going to work for you. I have an assignment for you. This is your assignment, and just focus on your assignment. Remember when we were in school, when you try to look at somebody's paper, if you didn't know the answer to the test, you kind of looking down, trying to see them slide it over it don't work. You got to focus on your assignment. And when you do that, everything changes. Absolutely. Doors get kicked open for you, things that you didn't even know you were going to be at the table at, they start to happen. But most people are so afraid of their divine assignment. They're afraid that there's not enough out here for them, right? I can't do that. 20 other people are doing that. Focus on your assignment.
wow, that is so powerful. And then, Doc, I'm sure you would also, obviously, being in sports, having a mentor, so the right mindset, but then, having your assignment, but
Yeah.
having a mentor really helps. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to invite different people. So sometimes people can resonate with one person's story,
hmm
or, they get confirmation from hearing something,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's nothing I would have achieved in my life, in any area of my life, sports, business, television, without producers who are over your life, without mentors, without coaches. It is impossible because first of all, there are things you can't see. Like I didn't start out having a great jump shot. I started out having a very ugly jump shot. And then my brother came in and said, let's fix that. Let's see. I think we can fix that. I think we can make that better. And it turned out to be one of the prettiest jump shots that ever lived. But that happened only because some eyes outside of mine said, let me take a look at, let me examine and assess what you are doing because I have more years and more experience and more tenure than you. Take it or leave it. Every coach I had said, take it or leave it, but let me share this with you. And I appreciate that because they were saying to me, like, listen, this is your game, this is your assignment. But I also believe that God puts you in places with people who have knowledge and experiences that you may not be able to see yourself. And therefore you need to listen to the wise counsel sometimes of your coaches and your mentors. There's nothing I've achieved that didn't happen because I had a nice set of eyes looking at my homework, looking at my work and saying, that's great. Let me give you a couple of pointers. And me, the last part is like you being open to that, is you being open to say, okay, I'll take a look at that. I can see that. I appreciate that.
Mm,
Valuing the feedback that you get. So coaches are invaluable.
wow. Well, that's good because and so powerful. We talk about like a pencil, for instance, and the sharpener. And the greatest book I've written, scripture says, "Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friends." But I believe I heard the analogy: if the pencil could talk, the pencil would say something like, "That sharpener hurts," and the pencil would have to say that I couldn't be and be used in my purpose properly unless I lost
Mm,
some of me,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? And so, but we get stuck sometimes. Say, well, this is just me. This is just me. Well, sometimes we got to change
Whoa.
of us,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it takes coaches and mentors, and sometimes a big brother or a brother. They rub us a little bit the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
They sharpen us. And sometimes and so sometimes when we're reading the book, or we like, I don't, and that's the very thing that sometimes we need to work on because that there's that inner resistance, and sometimes the inner resistance is a key that we are off base a little bit, and that we don't want to get right back on base. But as iron sharpeneth iron,
Yeah.
so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. So a mentor sharpens the countenance of the mentee. So a coach sharpens the countenance of the clients and so forth. And you've been on both sides of that, and you've done it well and with grace.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have coached young players, young entrepreneurs, and old players. And the resistance is a part of being human and thinking that you know all the answers. You got all the answers. So I typically, the famous thing where you go, okay, all right, okay, just gotta throw your hands back. I'm just telling you what I know, just telling you what I've learned. Um, and it's funny to see people. It's funny, I was talking to Myron Golden. I saw Myron in Florida. I went there I can't remember what I went there, for or basketball Final Four or something. And we were having breakfast and we were talking about the people we've known through the years and how some of those people have catapulted to just incredible. And some of those people are still in the same spot, literally today, because they resist coaching.
Mm,
They resist coaching. They don't want they want you to think that they know everything. They're not going to do that. They can do it this way. Like they resist coaching. And what is so crazy about the conversation Myron and I had is because we said, okay, I'm gonna throw out this person. We're not gonna say the name that we've known for 20 years and who's resisting coaching, who's blah blah blah. And I kid you not, we did not miss one person's name correct. We
wow.
knew exactly who we were talking about, even though our interaction with that person was a long time ago at the Black Millionaire Summit, which you were speaking at as well. Like, Stan, that was a long time ago. And those people who were there claim to want, to ascend and really serve are pretty much two steps from where they were in what was that, 2000 and 2005.
Wow. 20 years? What? 20
Incredible.
years
Yeah.
ago. Wow. Wow.
20 years and not listening to coaching. Yeah.
Wow. Well, as a matter of fact, you bring up Myron Golden, actually, and again, I always got to give you credit and kudos because you're the same way. But I keep telling people there's only one thing more powerful than AI, and that's IA. And one of the IAs I'm talking about is inspired action, right? So you just get an ideal, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you just
Mm-hmm.
say, "I'm going to do this," right? And so and
Yep.
so
Yep.
and so people like us, we just take what I call immediate action, right? Immediate massive action. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. And it's so funny because you bring up Myron. He's the first guy ever led to Christ. He's the guy, first guy, you mentor him in martial arts. And I was even one of the professors at the Bible college.
Hmm.
Quit, but we forgave him because he made millions later on, helped a lot of people. But anyway, but he called me and said, I'm coming in town. I never forget. And so I was like, hey, I'm busy this day, but this and the day that I would be able to go was the day I launched this challenge. I had the idea. 2 days later, I just launched. I was like, and I'll fix it. And
Go.
right, yeah, yeah. I don't know where exactly, but so anyway, I teach that first day, June the 1st. And so, Dr. Fran, sometimes you feel like you in the groove, right? And people are like, man, I was so good, so good. And one guy said, I'm 73. I never heard a presentation like that in my life. It was so clear, concise. It helped me. I was like, oh man. So I'm driving down here, mine. I'm feeling so good. And all of a sudden, I get there. I'm sitting and watching him. An hour and a half later, he gives people an opportunity to come work with him and coach with him. And then he wants me to come up to his room afterwards. And so he's showing me his numbers. And he had made, at that time, it was 900,000, but an extra
Hmm.
70,000 came in, right? 970,000. So I was like, man, you're going to laugh at me. I was like, he said, what do you mean? I said, man, I was coming to tell you, now, how is this phone still ringing after I turned it off and turned off the focus and everything else? Do not disturb. Okay, let's do it one more time. All right. So here's the deal, because we gotta get ready to come to close. I got to hear from you. But
Hmm.
here's the story though. So I said, Myra, don't laugh at me, man. I'm teaching on how to make an extra 9K to 90K or more in 90 days or less. And I come down here and you do like 900, and it was 900, but it was 970,000. And he said, well, he said, Doc, no, I wouldn't laugh at it. He said, well, first of all, didn't you say how to make an extra 9K to 90K or more? I said, yes. He said, well, that's confirmation. 970,000 is more than 90,000, right? I said, did you say 90 days or less? I said, yes. He said, well, hour and a half is less than nine. And so I was like, Lord, that's confirmation, because I still remember having to loan Myron money. And, back then I was married previously 26 years, but that wife would get mad at me. And I was like, no, I see this, man. And so now I'm just glad because he's opened up opportunities for me that was just
Yes.
amazing, right? So we just never know.
You
But
just
he's
keep
always
doing
been
it.
one of those kind of people that would absorb stuff, like you said. And so I said to him one
100%.
day, I said, man, you're out of everybody I know, I've never seen somebody quite like you, that most of the people that mentored you somehow have you mentoring them, right? Because he's one of my business mentors. I was like, dude, I mean, hey, I don't, I don't know how you figured this stuff out, bro. But because he had me
But he
speak at
did.
this conference and say, "Hey, this is the guy that got me in the Bible and everything else." And I was like, "Yeah, y'all." But when he teaches the Bible, he teaches stuff I never heard of. So but 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 Dr. Fran, but it is something how people with like minds kind of, like you said, align and get together.
Yep.
And even if we're not together all the time, when we reconnect, it's still like a camaraderie, right?
It really was. I feel like the Black Millionaire Summit, that there was a core group of those
Yes.
people who are still flowing. Whereas me, you, Myron for sure,
Right.
Alicia Pierce,
Oh, by the way,
like the
hey, by the way, I'm interviewing Alicia. I just
oh
spoke to
great,
her
there
the
we
other day,
go,
by the way.
there we go.
Yeah,
Like
she's now
literally,
called the queen of AI or something like that, right?
for sure, 100%. No, it's like, and those people, you convene with them for a time, but you see those people like, yeah, we're gonna do something together, or this person, like you already know that. So when you actually called today, it was like the nine and the nines and the nines. I was like, okay, let's do it. Like an opportunity. I got to go to the hospital to see somebody, but an opportunity to hang with you and to inspire people to take inspired action is why I was born. Is like people say,
Wow.
why do you do all this stuff? I go, this is why I was born. I was born to show people what they can do, what's possible. What's
Wow.
possible. And this challenge is about possibility. And the only limit you have, and people have said this millions of years, like the only limit is in your thinking, is what
Wow.
you believe. Because here's the thing: if you believe it, it is so. It
Mm.
actually is. Which means sometimes we have to unbelieve the things that we believe. We got to unbelieve the things that we believe, and the
Wait, wait,
fact
wait,
that
wait, 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 wait. You dropped that too hot. Say that. Say that again. We got to what now? We got to unbelieve. Say that.
to get to that elusive next level, most people have to unbelieve
Come on,
what
unbelieve.
they believe.
Mm.
Unbelieve what they believe.
Wow.
So, and we've all had, I mean, literally to break through, you had to unbelieve that
Right.
that was wood and your hand can't break wood. You had to unbelieve that because we were taught that. Like, this
Right.
is hard. You're never going to win. So you had to unbelieve that. I had to unbelieve that people who look like me
Come on.
don't make millions of dollars. I had to unbelieve that a 23 20-year-old who took 9 years off was not going to make a professional team. I had to unbelieve all the unbelievers around me who said you can't do it. I had to believe something else. And I
Wow.
believed through the power of God, it is possible. It is absolutely possible. Why couldn't this happen? But so many people are are married to their false beliefs about what's possible
Oh,
for them.
oh,
And that's why they can't achieve anything.
wow.
Unbelieve what you believe.
Well, Jeremiah 7:8 says, you trust in lying words which cannot profit. So the opposite is true.
Hey.
The truth is the thing that will profit. And I think
Mm.
it's Alvin Toffler that said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but rather those who will not learn, unlearn, and relearn. Or in the words of Dr. Fran Harris, those who cannot believe, unbelieve, and re-believe a new belief. Come on now. So thank you. Wow, that is so powerful. Folks, I am telling you, you heard it today. And Doc, I want to thank you because I happen to know you're at the hospital visiting a friend.
I
You
am.
call me, you say, you know what, but we can knock this out. So that's another thing about you. Because see, other people are like, well, this is not the good time and the situation, and I don't have
Yeah.
the right background, and I don't have you like, look, let's do it. Let's do it.
Tripod was in my car. Like literally, I always keep a tripod in my car. I'm like, okay, she's sleeping. That's cool. We'll go back up with the family in a minute. Got my tripod, set it up, got quiet. Nobody out here but me. Like opportunity to inspire, opportunity to take people higher. I'm always down for that. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Well, thank you. You know, years ago, I heard a poem that helped set me free. And what you just said, by the way, being a Black woman, especially in the day, I mean, you've broken through so many barriers and so many, arenas.
Hmm.
You continue to do so. But the poem goes like this: fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. Rise so tall as to reach the power to glance at the ocean at a span. I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of a man. And it was years ago that it dawned on me. It's not the color of my skin, the texture of my hair, or even the neighborhood or the hood and the hood of the hood where I grew up, but rather in here that affects this, right? And that's what you've mastered is like you said, unbelieving those things that were hindering you and putting some new beliefs, and then making sure your heart's right with God and with other people and doing the right things. And so, Dr. Fran, I thank you for that. And give our guest the parting words as we leave this How to Make Extra 9K to 90K in 90 days or less.
I would just say it is no accident that you have been invited into this challenge. It is no accident that the two of these souls came together to inspire you to be great in this challenge. And now all you have to do is go out there and unbelieve what you currently believe or what you used to believe and put and lay down new beliefs so that you can achieve what many before you have never even conceived.
Wow. Matthew 8, was it 8:13? As thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. So was it Henry Ford said, if you think you're beaten, you are. And if you think you dare not, you won't. If you like to win, but think
Yeah.
you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you will lose, you've already lost. For this powerful truth we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all a state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger woman or man, but sooner or later, those who win, those who first think and know that they can. And Dr. Fran and I, we know you can. Now you got to believe and take action. God bless you. Thank you, Dr. Fran. We appreciate it. How can people contact you if they want to?
Yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the best place. That's my most active channel right now. But I'm about to start going live on TikTok for the month of August. So check me out at TikTok as well.
Y'all better watch out. Here
Thank
comes
you.
the pro basketball player, the pro in front of the camera, the pro at making money, the pro at listen, the pro at breaking barriers. So, all righty. God bless you. Thank you now.
Thank you.
All righty.